Eric Corne. Many things: musician, recording engineer, record producer, and now author. Things have definitely changed in terms of the recording world. In your section of the book, how do you tell people to prepare for a recording session, Eric?
Well, I think it starts at the beginning with the song, making sure the chord structure and the lyrics are as strong as they can be, having the skeleton of the song together. And then you start thinking about the arrangement and the instrumentation, and you have a vision for it. And then you start thinking about the sound. I think it's really important for artists to have done their homework and to know, who are their influences, who are the influences of their influences, what is the sound, the instrumentation. There's a lot of work to be done, and I think, it takes a real strong work ethic and sort of commitment to the craft. It's like any other profession, and you have to put in thousands of hours to develop a mastery of it.
I was going to ask you about misconceptions about the recording world. What misconceptions do you think people bring to the experience that you can dispel with the book?
That it's easy and that it's just star time. And I think a lot of people don't realize just the amount of preparation and work that goes in, just even being ready to record. And then the amount of work that goes into making a recording. It's a lot of work. It's fun, but it's a lot of work.
Can people train themselves in some ways by having their own software at home or different recording apparatus that they can use at home? Is that a good training ground, do you think, for the major thing?
Absolutely. I'm self-taught. I learned from a lot of people in different environments, but I never went to school. I played in bands, and I eventually got a little Pro Tools rig, and I was just driven. I was pretty obsessed with it. I would stay up till 3 in the morning every night just learning the editing functions and sound design and how all the plugins worked. And I think if you have that drive and that passion, you're going to put in the time and you're going to see the work. And I think if you complement that with real-world experience and educating yourself, doing a lot of reading, and now watching, YouTube videos and things like that, I think you can learn a lot on your own.
What should we be listening for when we listen to music? Should we be listening to the process of the recording? Should we listen to the effects that are used? Or should we listen to the arrangements? What do you recommend?
Well, I think if you're serious about being an artist or a producer, you want to listen analytically with producer's ears. And so it's a blessing and a curse because, you can't really listen to music the same way anymore. You're always constantly rewinding things to hear, that thing again and pointing it out to your loved ones, and they, laugh and tolerate it. But, I think, you want to start to identify the sounds and instruments in the recording, when they enter the arrangement, when they come out, and how the whole production evolves.
So we have to train ourselves in some ways. We have to get past the fact that we are a consumer of music and now become more analytical. Is that what you're saying?
I think so. If you want to be a music creator, you have to analyze how it's created, I think that's the same in any field.
Do you think recording can ever become too sterile, too perfect? Or is it sometimes the imperfections of older records what makes them kind of appealing, do you think?
Absolutely. I was just talking to some young musicians today, and I was pointing out, we were listening to Crazy by Gnarls Barkley, and I was pointing out, the sort of dirty, scratchy sounds behind the snare. And if you take that away, it's very sterile, it's too clean, and you need that sort of atmosphere, that ambience, and those types of something like tape hiss or static and record static, those things add ambience to the listening experience, and I think they're really important.
Anything that's going to surprise our readers that we're going to be reading about from your section of 5-Star Music Makeover?
I don't know if there's any surprises. I think it's just a really practical, reference guide on recording. I think it has a lot of my philosophies in there, but I think it really takes you from the beginning of the process with pre-production through the recording, mixing and mastering process, start to finish.
Terrific. Such an integral part of what we do. Eric Corne, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan.